Right then, blue shift for game 4, and yeah, in this pretty tight best of 5. Extra MS, CrimsonTide has pulled one back in a pretty scrappy game, but yeah, it was tight, but has at least stopped the rot and got a game on the board. She does, however, have to win another 2 in a row in order to get through to the semi-finals. Wyrm just, of course, needs one more game. So, let's see what CrimsonTide can do here. Yeah, we're in the middle of blue shift, and blue shift's a pretty big map. So, I wouldn't mind seeing a macro game from these players. I wouldn't mind seeing it go to the late game. But you know, who knows what's going to happen here. The openers look very similar to the previous games. Wyrm and Crimson, neither of them in any of the games have gone for any sort of weird sort of proxy or anything like that. However, Crimson in game 2 did go for a bit of a early push, which did not pan out that well. So we'll see what happens. In most of the games so far, Wyrm's just gone for a single gateway into Expo, and he's going to come in here for the scout. He's that is indeed a gap. You know, so an adept shed would be able to fit through there. Going to come in and have a look around, and he's going to like what he sees. Nothing to see here. Everything's straight up and normal. The barracks is in the main base. Single gas. Yeah, the wall off, but look. Oh, he needs the mineral walk the worker out. Maybe he's not paying attention. He's going to actually lose the worker here at this rate. Oh, that's a little bit disappointing. So the worker dies, but Wyrm feels confident enough to throw down the Nexus first. Yeah. So Crimson hasn't really done any early scouting. So no worker scouts. I don't think there's been a worker scout. Has there been a worker scout in any of the games for Crimson? I don't believe there has. And that's a missed opportunity because Wyrm, I think, has opened Nexus before Sidecore in every single game. And that is a very risky business. You know, against a 4 racks or against like 1 Raxatome and 1 Proxied, that just straight up dies. You know, if 3 Reapers come in, your Zealot is not helpful. And, you know, if you've got Nexus before Sidecore, it's such a long time till you've got a Stalker, right? Such a long time. But as it is, Wyrm with the Adept is going to come across the map, and there's another Adept building. So, you know, you can be very annoying with 2 Adepts. You can kind of shed in. You can try and get the shades in inside the main base, and you may well be successful. But you can, oh my goodness, double Expo. There are 2 command centers building right now. So CrimsonTide, feeling good about a macro game, has just gone ahead and dropped a 3rd, and not even dropped it inside the main base where it can't be scouted. She's gone ahead and dropped it on location, which is pretty bold. So yeah, if she gets away with that, that really could give a serious advantage to the Terran player here, because the sort of income you're going to get. But that said, look, this command center isn't building any workers, is it? It's not, you know, it still isn't, and neither is this one. Now, what's the point in 3 CCs if you don't have the workers to saturate? Come on, get building the. Come on, what's the hold up here? So the 2 Adepts, they, you know, the Adept Shed saw the timing on this. I'm surprised he didn't let that Shed finish and just snipe the worker. They're going to see these Hellions move out, and generally, you know, Adepts are pretty tough, and they trade quite well against Hellions. But 4 against 2, the Hellions are going to clean that up pretty handily, especially with that convenient lineup. So a quick repair on these Hellions to get them good to go across the map. And those 2 Adepts then really lost for free because they didn't really get any useful information, and they got 0 kills. Wyrm, however, with this kind of choke point at the front, although is that a gap? It's hard to tell because the scenery often doesn't have fantastic. It is a gap, yeah. Sometimes the edges of the scenery aren't as well defined as you might think. And what can look like a gap sometimes isn't. But no, that is a gap, but it is plugged. So Hellions won't be able to get through there. However, it's hard to tell whether these are on hold command or not. They may not be, in which case the Hellions might be able to lure them out, get a few shots off on them, and then run past, which would be a pretty good way to play this. The other option you've got as a Terran is to have a single Reaper. So if the Zealots are on a hold command, you run in with the Reaper, you throw a grenade, and then you right click the Hellions in, and when the grenade goes off, it pops the Zealots up in the air, and oh my goodness, this isn't cloaked, and cloak isn't quite finished. It just flies straight over the Stalker, but it can now start shooting on these workers. It takes 2 shots from Banshee to kill a worker. Cloak is very nearly finished up. I'm surprised Crimson didn't fly in this direction, which I think would have been my preferred choice. Just get into the high ground here and fly away from the Stalker that way. The Stalker has a much longer walk around than the direct line of flight for the Hellion. Thor's building at home, straight into Thor. No siege tanks on the map. Interesting choice. But look, still no workers being produced, CrimsonTide. Look at this. You know what? We've built this early third, but look, we're not even 6 minutes and we're not saturated in the natural. You know, that's criminal. Look, this is saturated. So at present, Wyrm actually has the worker lead. At present, Wyrm has the income lead. You know, on both, like, I don't know. There was a great opportunity there with the triple CC to get a really big economic advantage. Now, as it is, there's no detection here for Wyrm, and so these Banshees are going to mop up a huge number of workers. Wyrm not even pulling the workers, and I don't know about that. I think a faster pull, you know, run as far as you need to run, but keep the workers moving. Use up that APM of your opponents as they try and micro the Banshees to shoot moving workers. You know, letting them just sit still and slay everything is really not what you want. So 5 kills on that one, 6 kills on that one, 11 dead workers, not too bad. Now that the observer's out, they are going to have to run, but these can go home and they can get patched up. The STVs can patch them up. Oh, had the Hellions just come across and found those, oh my goodness, that would have been such a win for CrimsonTide. As it turns out, they didn't, though. Look how big this gateway army is. That's loads of gateway units. Now, if, you know, Wyrm could be totally unlucky here. If Crimson just chooses this moment to dive with the Hellions, there is nothing in the front. There is nothing blocking the entrance. My goodness. What a bizarre move out, because, you know, what do these Zealots do against the Banshees? Literally nothing, nada zip. They can't shoot up. So why they were all the way over here, I don't know. Everything moves out. Is this going to be the moment Crimson moves in? It could be. It could be, and things could turn nasty here. Now, there's 2 Thors at home, but I'd love there to be a siege tank. The Thors are tough. Oh my goodness! Again, it's a full F2 for basically a Banshee. Meanwhile, the Hellions are going to head straight into the main base, which isn't a bad choice at all. And this is going to be an absolute roast. Oh, Blue Flame is done as well. Oh my goodness. Look how quickly those probes go down. That is absolutely savage. There's only 2 Stalkers here, so yeah, you can stand and fight. You can kill those. It's going to be hard to escape. So arguably, just dance about in here. Try and lure your opponent up and into this main base. Now you can escape. You could actually go for the runaround. Goes for the conversion, but there's just too much firepower here. So I think I would have preferred the runaround and see if you can get even, you know, 2 or 3 of the Hellions out and into the back of this mineral line to be really obnoxious. Let's have a look at the damage. Oh, good God. 35 workers have died. Wyrm is down to 12 workers, and despite not really building SCVs at any time, CrimsonTide finds herself significantly ahead in workers and significantly ahead on income. But, you know, as I mentioned before, the reaction to losing that many workers is often go across the map and see what you can get done. Now, these Zealots have charge and they will trade pretty well against the Thors. There is a worker pool. The workers are hopefully repairing the Thors this time, not each other. I think they are. And 3 Thors, that other one coming out with pretty clutch timing, just packs so much DPS. They are absolutely crushing everything, and Wyrm is dead. It's as simple as that. The army supply is grim, the worker supply is grim. There is no way back from here. Surely the Liberator comes in to add insult to injury, and Wyrm has to pull the workers. It is a good pull, good quick reactions, but the last thing you want to be doing is having workers not mining when you have so few workers to begin with. I'm not sure why these haven't been moved up into the main base. Oh no, oh no, let them, oh no, no, no. Wyrm, don't be trying to fight the Hellion with your workers, not in a close, you know, leave it to the Immortal. The Immortal is going to obliterate the Hellion pretty quickly. I mean, that just shows you the power of repair, because I think generally an Immortal 2 shots a Hellion, does it? But, you know, that many SCVs pulled, and it is GG. That was a much better game from CrimsonTide, but you know, you've got to keep building those workers, CrimsonTide, because you could have been miles ahead. And actually you weren't. If we just go back, if we go back to when Wyrm sent his army across the map, if we look at the army supplies, Wyrm is ahead on army supply, and given that you had this really, really early third base, you should just be miles ahead in every measure. And to be fair, you have 2,000 minerals in the bank. The clutch timing of this third Thor coming out was a bit of a win. You know, there is charge down here. What happens if Wyrm goes over here and just snipes this third instead of pushing in? I don't know. Oh, the Stalker's there kind of, yeah, derping about for a little bit as well. Wasn't helpful, but what a horrible place to be caught with an arc of 3 Thors being repaired, just shooting at you. But, you know, with the bigger army supply out in the open, with the charge lots around, Wyrm possibly could have won the fight. I don't know, with the third Thor coming out and the workers repairing, maybe not so much, but it certainly would have been a closer fight. But yeah, I feel like there was an opportunity here to go and kill this. And then you're both on 2 bases. Maybe you feel like you can get back into it. Maybe you drop a Dark Shrine and you hope for the best. Your opponent isn't paying too much attention. And you can get a little bit of, you can snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat. But not this time. GG.